My name is Matt Thornton. I go by he, him, his. My family and I, we actually spend a fair amount of time in P-Town. So for folks who don't know, P-Town, Massachusetts, it's very, very gay-friendly, an incredible place. I was in P-Town for Family Week with my daughter. Family Week is when all the gay families bring their kids down, right? And we all kind of get to celebrate together, which is just so incredible. And I overheard another child who was about Luna's age say, "Hey, Daddy, hey, Papa, look at that little girl. She has two daddies, too." And that's why it matters. That's why visibility matters. That's why representation matters. I think about my childhood and my upbringing and having no vocabulary to be able to talk about any of it. And for these kids, 3, 4 years of age, it's just so simple. It's just so simple and so natural. And that kid, he said, "Look, that little girl has two daddies too," stole my heart that day. And that's when I realized this is why this matters. This is why we have to have this conversation. This is why we have to be visible, because for so many kids, it's not.
Hi, my name is Spencer Hensel, and today we're talking to the SNHU community about what pride means to them. So let's get started.
My name is Torian Parker McNeil, and my pronouns are he, him, and his.
So let's get right to it. So what does pride mean to you?
When I saw this question, I was a little bit hesitant about my immediate answer because when we think about pride, it's usually celebratory. But what it made me stop and think about was the struggle that happened before to get us to celebrating pride. And so when I was thinking about that, I just thought about we have been largely miscategorized, judged, and kind of just looked over for so long. And so when I think about pride, it honors that struggle. It honors those really hard points in our lives and as a community that we've had to face from our very existence to this point now, and still continuing to have to do that fight. So for me, when I hear the word pride, I get excited and I think it's a celebratory time, but it also pulls me back down to say that it took some work for us to get here to be able to even celebrate pride.
I am Jasmine Liu, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I think Pride Month is a time for celebration and remembrance of those who made this month possible. I think of the mother of Pride, Brenda Howard, and Marsha P. Johnson, Frank Hammoney, and the many, many others who fought so that we could celebrate. And, their fight is now ours, and we can't stop fighting to ensure that we all have, at the very least, basic human rights and freedom. I know that it can be hard to think about pride and celebration when you're fighting to exist, but that pride shows that we aren't going anywhere, and we aren't going to stop being ourselves.
My name is Helena Ayaquinta, and I use she, her pronouns. I consider it a chance to celebrate who we are as people within the 2S LGBTQIA+ community and the adversity that we've overcome. I think of it as a time to remind ourselves what we're still fighting for, which is equity, equality, and acceptance, and to get the energy to keep going. I often think about pride as the chance to be unapologetically me, and to reinforce to all of the people I meet at different events that each of us matters.
And my name is Becca, or Betty, and my pronouns are she, her. There can be a lot of different sides to it. I think the positivity and the community and the culture and the celebration and acknowledging our history, and then also at the same time it can be a little nerve-wracking. You feel like you're really in the spotlight during that month, and it can be a challenging time as well for a lot of queer people. So all of these emotions kind of mix into one, and it's a pretty good representation of what being a queer person is like.
I am Scott Cloutier, and my pronouns are he, him, his.
Why is it important to celebrate Pride season?
it shows people that they have a supportive place and that they have a place in the community where they belong. And when I mentioned before that I feel that pride is oftentimes, focused on in this big lens across the United States, across the world, but really in the local sense, it's so critical to make people feel as though they have a space to exist as who they are. Last year, we lost a high schooler in Manchester because of just some of the rhetoric and things that were happening around the queer community and the LGBTQIA plus laws that are going into place, anti-LGBT laws. And it's just really sad that, that happened. So I think, the most important reason to celebrate is that you need to show people that they can exist as who they are.
As fun and exciting as June can be with all of the Pride events happening, it's also a very sombering reminder that we have a long way to go. There's legislation happening all over the country that is limiting care for our community, restricting access to public spaces, and keeping us separate and not equal. And so we need this time to regroup and make a plan to continue to fight for our rights. I mentioned that I have 2 young children, and being a part of Pride shows that we're not alone and that there are families just like ours, and even many family units that they've not seen before. And I believe that it allows them to ask questions, be curious, and to learn. And by getting out and showing up and being visible, we reclaim our power.
We are here. And whether people are known or unknown, we need to keep those stories alive. It's just that space to say there's love, there is community within the layers of the LGBTQIA plus community.
There are a lot of different sub-communities within the culture, and there's something for everybody. And Pride is, again, it's about that sense of belonging, but also finding your community, finding your tribe, that group of people that really just resonates with you and allows you to vibrate at that highest level possible. It's just so important that we teach our kids that love is love is love is love is love, and you don't ever have to pretend to be something that you're not. And then I think about the allies that show up for Pride. And I think that's so important because, well, one, it's a way to educate yourself, right, about something that perhaps you don't understand or perhaps is a little unknown to you. But it's also an opportunity to show the community that you stand with us. And I just cannot tell you what it means to walk into a new place, walk into a new restaurant, and have that rainbow flag sticker on the door there. It absolutely takes this weight off of my shoulders when I walk into my family and I see that Pride badge on the door there. And it's almost like this weight is lifted. I feel my shoulders literally drop, and almost like this sigh of relief of, I know I'm safe here. I know I'm good here. If anything happens, the staff here have got my back. That's my sign that it's okay and I'm loved here. And I don't have to worry about holding my husband's hand in this space. I literally feel the tension leave my body.
Hi, I'm Mars, and my pronouns are they and he.
What's one thing you want allies to know about our history as 2S LGBTQIA plus people?
I think it was a long road to get to where we are today, and there has been a lot of struggle in the past, and it is still continuing for a lot of people to this day. We still need support more than ever. We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go.
Yeah, I think one thing I would want allies to know about our history is that visibility matters, and queer people have always existed. And in our sphere of education, we need to commit to undoing the systemic silencing of queer figures throughout history. I know that it's not possible with some of the legislation that's been passed in certain states, but I think that's why we have to be aware of what's happening so we can continue to fight against it.
The largest thing that I want people to know is that we also are just fighting for humanity alongside everyone else. And we just want that to be the end and be all, is the humanity aspect. And that we come in different shapes, sizes, orientations, and everything. And so if you can understand that, you can then come to a pride. You can understand how important it is for you to engage in that, to share with your family members who may not understand what you're doing. So when I think about what I want people to know about our history, that it's rich. There's a really like healthy tapestry of the folks in the LGBTQIA plus space. And so if you have time, take time to really get to know that, because some of that history really does impact you as an individual or an ally. So it's important to understand that, because when we are doing that work, it's not just for one person, it's for all people.
Is there anything else like top of mind for you? Anything else you wanted to say on this subject?
There's very little else that's more beautiful to me than the expression of true pride. When you're proud, you smile differently, you speak differently, you walk differently. It oozes out of every part of you. And seeing that just makes my heart explode with love. I want to see all the pride. I want to see every picture of every moment, of every flag, of every outfit, family, whatever. Is this your first Pride? Please share all the pictures and stories. Is this your 40th Pride? Please share pictures, stories, your wisdom, pass it all down. I want to see all those babies in their Pride onesies with their proud parents. And, we have to show that no matter what they throw at us, we still love and find reasons to smile and still grow our families and live full lives, because we all deserve to celebrate.
Thanks for joining us, and happy Pride, y'all.